Gonna get started. It's not on. Can we get the microphones turned on? Okay, there we go. If everyone could please take their seats, we're gonna get this party started. All right. Good morning. So welcome to the 14th annual meeting of the Lunar Exploration Analysis Group. As you could probably tell from all the reminders and notes we sent out to the community, this is easily the most important and consequential LEAG meeting since the first one we had in 2005 at the South Shore Harbor Resort, although at this one we won't have Dean Epler running around in a spacesuit. We'd like to thank you to the Planetary Science Division for their staunch support of LEAG over all the years and their specific support for this meeting. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you to INRES for the conference support and locating us a venue. We had clearly outgrown the USRA facility, so we got a bigger venue. I'd like to thank you to LPI and USRA, as always, for their support. LEAG and LPI have enjoyed a productive 15-year partnership, and we're proud to continue it. So we look forward to continuing it for many years in the future. And thank you to our good friends at the Solar System Research Exploration Virtual Institute for webcasting. Today's meeting is being broadcast to the world, to anyone who's watching. More on that in a second. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to recognize the current members of the LEAG Executive Committee. It's a good group, it's functioning well. I'm presently the chair for another year. The vice chairs are Barbara and Brett. Everyone who's on the XCOM, please stand up. And where is Amy? Okay, so I want to especially recognize Dr. Amy Fagan, our Director of Operations, for doing most of the work organizing and the meeting and is responsible for most of what you see here. So thank you, Amy, even though she's not in the room. One of the things that we're going to be doing next year is we're going to be starting to do get some more people on the XCOM. We said we're going to do that last year. Didn't happen for a variety of reasons. We are going to be doing it this year. We're going to have an open call for applications. We wanted to get more people involved. This is your program too, and we want people to be able to participate. There we go. For future speakers, you have to get the remote control out and kind of point it at the back for it to work. Okay, so we have an unusually important meeting, and it's structured in a very logical way. Today is Decadal Day, and tomorrow we talk about Artemis and humans on the moon and what comes after. But today we're very focused on the science objectives, and there's good reasons for that. But we'll get into that in a second. But so today we're going to all about the Decadal. We have a poster session tonight for mission concepts. We have a lot of mission concepts that are active in the community, lots of good ideas being worked on. Tomorrow we'll have a poster session for using lunar resources and for instrumentation concepts for the Commercial Lunar Services Program. Okay, so here's the nitty-gritty logistics stuff. Lunches are creative exercise in foraging. So when we have a break for lunch, run out, find nuts and berries, come back. Important factoid, so we are webcasting all the plenary talks, but the breakout sessions for Decadal Day later today and this afternoon are not going to be webcast. So for those of you watching at home, great time to go take in more meetings. So this is a working meeting, so I know how passionate this community is. We're going to be talking about some pretty contentious subjects. One of the key goals for today is to take a first stab at prioritizing what our key science questions are for the next decadal, especially in terms of the big question organization of the new decadal survey. So things could get, this is a passionate community, so I just remind everyone that we're all a family. We rise and we fall together. Be nice to people. Be professional, be courteous, be respectful, and above all else, be open-minded. I think we're going to have a good set of discussions today, and just, we're all in this together. So let's not, keep it about the science. Don't take stuff personally. The lawyers have asked that I point out that for NASA civil servants and on-site contractors, there are multiple blackout notices presently in effect covering many aspects of the procurement exercises for Artemis. We're all professionals, so everyone be mindful of to whom you're speaking and what you're saying. And I would point out, for those of you who aren't aware, federal acquisition regulations are scary beyond all reason, so don't do anything dumb. Okay, our code of conduct is clearly posted on the meeting website. By registering, you agreed to follow it. We have a zero tolerance policy in effect. If you noticed any issues, feel absolutely free to report to me or to the LPI staff. Okay, so I wanted to start with this. We all fanned out and combed the area and did a lot of Apollo 50 interviews. I think I did something like 10. So I would like to point out, I think I said this to nearly all the reporters I talked to, but it somehow always wound up on the cutting room floor, is that while we can celebrate the achievement of the Apollo 11 mission and of the Apollo missions, the fact that it's been 6 decades or 5 decades going on 6 without an American presence on another world, human presence on another world, the fact it's been 50 years since we've had a soft landed spacecraft on the surface of the moon from the United States, is not really something we should be celebrating. This is not something that is good. It's more than a little embarrassing, in fact. So keep that in mind. Hopefully, you know, I saw a great quote from John Culberson last week where, you know, it's okay to, you know, I would rather build a better future than live in the glories of the past. And I think that's what this meeting is all about, is trying to bring the community together to build a better future, to plan, to organize, because ultimately, this all depends on you. We can take it so far, but it's the program you get is the program you're willing to fight for and the program you're willing to implement and execute. So that's why this meeting is so important, and that's why I'm looking forward to an exciting meeting this week here in DC. Cool. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to be talking all about Artemis and the implications of it. It is exciting. I would point out that for those of you who, you know, think that, oh God, another SAT meeting. Oh Lordy, you guys sent another note to a listserv. Just another boring thing nobody reads. People read this stuff. The Space Council actually said the Lunar Exploration Roadmap is something that the White House really would like to implement. So it's, it doesn't get any more clear than that. So these documents and what we do at these meetings really does matter. People read these things, Congress listens, OMB listens, the people in this room and beyond in the larger community really do make an impact, and it is important. This is all the work the community groups do, it is no kidding important. So we'll talk about this tomorrow. Okay, so before we got too far along, I wanted to also recognize our travel awardees. LEAG offers 2. The first is the B. Ray Hawk Award, the Bernard Ray Hawk Next Lunar Generation Career Development Award. When I attended the first LEAG meeting in 2005, I was one of only a handful of graduate students. And I noticed in the recent years, graduate student participation had declined substantially, and early career participation was down. So to help develop the next generation of leaders with the kind support of the Hawk family and the generous support of the Solar System Exploration Research Virtual Institute, LEAG established the Bernard Ray Hawk Next Lunar Generation Career Development Award. Dr. Hawk did pioneering work integrating lunar sample petrology with remote sensing data from the moon. He was a passionate defender of lunar science, a staunch advocate for human spaceflight, a vigorous proponent of lunar settlement and industrialization, but he was also a peerless educator who mentored many of the people in this room in ways both large and small. For many students nervously standing in front of their first poster at the Lunar and Planetary Science Conference, their first exposure to the larger scientific community was when a kind man in a jean jacket, who was unfailingly kind and generous to everyone he met, stopped by their poster and seemed to know everything about the moon. The B. Ray Hawk Award is designed to help ensure that the next lunar generation is ready and willing to answer the challenge that the nation gives to them. So this year, we have 3 award winners. That's Amanda Statterman from the University of Arizona, Deanna Phillips, and Frank Hahn. Are you guys in the room today? Can you stand up? And yeah, there's Frank. Where's Deanna? Thank you for being here. We're delighted to have you here. Later today, we're gonna want to do a photo with the Hawk awardees and send it to B. Ray's family. So we're gonna hunt you guys down later. Okay, this year is new. With the kind support of the USRA and the Lunar and Planetary Institute, we're offering the Larry A. Taylor Award. And to say a few words about his good friend Larry Taylor is the Grover Cleveland of LEAG chairs, Clive Neal.
Now, I think this picture encapsulates Larry Taylor with a big hunk of lunar meteorite on his shoulder. But when Larry was struck down rather rapidly, he first knew about his brain tumor when he was going to accept the Wargo Award at Survey, and had to go to hospital, and I had to give his acceptance speech. So there's no pressure than doing that. But Larry was a giant in many ways. He was certainly to the point. Believe me, I worked with him for 4 years, and he was pointed with me at least 5 times a day. So you sort of build a bit of a thick skin when that happens. So, but I spent, I'd say, the 4 best years of my life at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. That's not to say I didn't like the climate. The climate was horrible, but the environment was really good. But the first 6 months were not that good. But after that, it got better. But Larry was a giant. We've put together these awards thanks to Dawn Taylor, who has funded an endowment so that student awards can be handed out, or travel awards can be handed out to up-and-coming students. We have can the 5 members or awardees, can they stand up, please? Who have we got? We got 2, 3. All right, 2 or 4. All right. That is thanks. You have big shoes to fill, and we hope that you will use this award to network and don't be bashful. That's the thing about this community. If you've got a question that you don't want to ask in public forum, but you do want to ask, don't be bashful. Come up and speak to anyone. They're human. You cut them, they bleed red stuff just like anybody else, because I've tried it. So in honor of Larry, this will be an ongoing award to get the next generation involved. And as Sam has said, you know, look out for those getting involved in LEAG as well, because that is how this community will continue. And it's we need your help. So pay attention. There'll be a test later on. All right, thank you.
All right, I forgot to mention one thing. So we are webcasting. All our talks are going to be recorded for posterity. Now, the lunar science community, has been my experience, is very good at being snarky. And I love everyone for it, but just be aware, everything you say in the public Q&As is going to be recorded until the end of eternity on the internet. So be mindful. Okay, so in 2017 and 2018, LEAG undertook a comprehensive look at the current state of lunar science and exploration. We do have some guiding policy documents, starting with the United States Lunar Exploration Roadmap, the Back to the Moon conference that was run at USRA, and the Advancing Science of the Moon report, which was commissioned by Planetary Science Division and a number of special action teams, the Next Steps on the Moon Special Action Team, the Volatile Special Action Team, and the absolutely fantastic LEAG Survey Lunar Science for Landed Missions Workshop. All of these represent, in our view, a very comprehensive look at the current state of lunar science and exploration and what we are trying to do with the new program. And we do, you know, this stuff matters. Okay, so in 2019, it was a busy year for the moon. The first set of CLIPS providers are under contract. We had Galley selections and LSTEP program selections, NASA internal instrument selections. I'll go over that in a second. We had new survey nodes coming online. We had the ANXA teams have been selected, and that work is starting to begin. That's why Ryan Ziegler, the Lunar Sample Curator, or the Apollo Sample Curator, is not here. We had the Trailblazer Simplex Complex was selected. LRO operations and discoveries continue. 3 of the 10 mission concept proposals recently selected by PSD were lunar focused, and human lander design effort work is now underway. So it's a very busy year. A lot of stuff has been happening. So much stuff has been happening. It's been hard to keep the community abreast of what's happening, all the different stuff that's going on. So that's another thing I hope the community gets out of this meeting, is a good sense of all the different exciting things which are happening. Okay, so it occurred to me that we're doing a lot of discussions about the decadal survey today and the implications of the commercial program, and we might not have anyone discussing the roster of instruments and payloads that are presently, these have been selected, they are going. And we're going to, it is our intent at the moment, we're going to have a virtual workshop sometime in the January timeframe to enable all the different PIs of these instruments and missions, and including the CubeSat mission selected for EM1, to give status updates to the community. So that'll be a virtual LEAG survey workshop. Pay attention for that. That's coming in January. So we have the Galley Program, which is development and advancement of lunar instrumentation. There were 10 selections made in February of 2019. These are lunar instruments that support NASA's broader lunar exploration goals, including human exploration and ISRU, as well as lunar science, and there's a list available on the internet with the link provided below. We also, things are moving so quickly, we did a call for internal NASA payloads. There were 12 selections made in February 2019, listed here, encompassing a wide variety of science, goals, and objectives for lunar exploration. There's I provided a list there. You can find it on the internet. We also had the Lunar Science Technology Investigations Program. These selections were made in July of 2019. There were 12 selections, again, encompassing a wide variety of lunar science and exploration objectives. And the list can be found also on the internet. So as we go into the discussions later today, you know, be aware these are happening. We are going. These are missions and these are instruments that are going to fly on a lunar lander. So be mindful of that, and also think about opportunities for future instruments and future flight opportunities. Okay. So LEAG has been busy. We had the wildly successful 2018 LEAG meeting, which featured a new meeting format, which we're continuing. The Survive the Night LEAG report has been put up on the LEAG website. It went through a couple of revision cycles. The last LEAG meeting, we had strong participation from the entire LEAG community for over 300 attendees, 27 mission concepts, networking session. Everyone seemed to really like the new format, so we're continuing it. We also had a very successful Lunar ISRU workshop in 2019 at USRA headquarters in Columbia, featuring a rousing speech by Deputy Administrator Morehart. And I'm not sure we circulated this, but the Deputy Administrator will be giving the keynote address tomorrow for the LEAG meeting. He'll be here at, I believe it's 8:30 to kick off the meeting, so I'm looking forward to hearing what the Deputy Administrator has to say. We spent most of our time organizing a decadal response to Lori Glaze's decadal challenge, big question thought exercise. So that involved 3 months of effort, an intensive community feedback process, including a town hall, multiple telecons, and several rounds of community feedback. So that was fun. That was a fun thing to actually do, and it was gratifying to see the community response. LEAG also helped to coordinate planetary mission concept studies responses. We did that through a Google Doc, which people seem to find helpful. We strongly support science from the moon. And so we host, on the LEAG website, we're presently hosting some white papers for the Astro 2020 decadal survey that is presently ongoing with our colleagues in the astrophysics and astronomy communities. We have a draft lunar capabilities roadmap under review. We have a volatiles measurement special action team that was chaired by Barbara Cohen, which I believe we have delivered or about to deliver to SMD. And we're working to establish more virtual meetings. So the things are happening so quickly that actually organizing a meeting may not be possible. So LEAG is going to be moving to a model, increased cadence of virtual meetings. We're going to see more of those over the coming year, and we're going to be working with Survey to facilitate this. So this is very exciting. And the first one, as I mentioned previously, is going to be the LEAG mission concept meeting. Okay, so today is all about the decadal survey. The moon is the cornerstone of planetary science, and we need to make sure that the science value of the moon is compellingly communicated to all stakeholders. I think the moon has a lot of, I said in one of the interviews, and it sort of went viral, that the moon is the Rosetta Stone of the solar system. And I think maintaining that is true. And today is how we're going to try to work on that, is how to make sure that we communicate this value and develop a prioritized list of what our objectives are for the next decade. So here's the schedule for today. We're going to get some briefings from the National Academy and how the process works, some updates from Planetary Science Division about how the process works from their perspective, and how the New Frontiers mission call is currently anticipated. We're going to have some perspectives on the last decadal survey from those who participated in it, and some community discussion and clarifications and some comments. So there's gonna be a lot of time for comments, a lot of time for discussion. I'm looking forward to a healthy discussion. And then in the afternoon, we're gonna go into breakout sessions and try to organize as a community. You had to check a box when you registered to self-identify for different breakouts, and so that's gonna be a fun process to see unfold this afternoon and later today. Let's keep in mind that only a few days away is a stunning world full of wonder and opportunity that's just waiting for us. And it's the job of the people in this room to get there and make it happen and be successful. And it's going to be an exciting adventure for us all. So with that, I will stop talking and we'll start with our first talk of the day. So everyone, welcome Colleen Hartman from the National Academies to provide an oversight view of the decadal process.